Campeones, campeones, oe, oe, oe. Campeones, campeones, oe, oe, oe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Barca News. My name is Mo, and welcome to the post-match live analysis, where today we're going to be discussing the Spanish Super Cup final, which Barcelona just won against Real Madrid 3-2 with 2 goals by Coutinho and a goal by Robert Lewandowski. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Spanish Super Cup finals. I'll say that again for those in the back. FC Barcelona are Spanish Super Cup champions for the second year in a row, defeating Real Madrid for the second year in a row. And this time, not as big of a margin. Last year, of course, we won 5-2. Today, we won 3-2. But I truly believe that this result was not a fair reflection of the match. Because if you missed the match and you only saw the score, you might have think, wow, this match was really close. Barcelona and Real Madrid must have gone head-to-head. It must have been a pretty balanced match. But that was not the case. This was absolute domination by Barcelona. A Barcelona that was much more superior to Real Madrid, and a Real Madrid that, honestly, if there's no penalty, well, there's no party. So, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona are champions, and as the title of this video suggests, we are champions against everything and everyone. That's what Joan Laporta said, that we have to win against everything and everyone, because that's exactly what happened today with a terrible refereeing and with the terrible play by Real Madrid. Now, Madridistas, please explain to me this, because when Real Madrid signed Xabi Alonso, supposedly he was going to come and modernize Real Madrid's play, right? People were tired of Ancelotti's antiquated tactics, of Ancelotti's, very little control over the tactics, because Ancelotti was someone more that liked, his players to do whatever they wanted to do. And Xabi Alonso was supposed to be changing that. He was supposed to modernize Real Madrid. They signed players like Arda Güler because supposedly Real Madrid were going to be playing more like touch football, quick, short passes, ball possession, etc. And I'm sorry, but not only have I not seen any of that this whole season, but today, what I saw was not Xabi Alonso. Today, what I saw was Mourinho. It was a return to the Mourinho years, where all Real Madrid did all match is fouls, kicks, dirty tactics, diving every time someone touches them, flopping all the time, parking the bus. Real Madrid were defending with a 5-3-2 line. 5-3-2. All they did was park the bus, defend, and then long passes to Vinicius, hoping that Vinicius does something. And when Barcelona had the ball, it was foul, 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 foul. All I saw today was Mourinho's tactics all over again. And I did not see this modern football that Xabi Alonso was supposed to bring to Real Madrid. Now, the other thing I want to talk about before talking about Barcelona, the referee. Because the referee was an absolute disgrace. This referee was an absolute shame. And I cannot believe that in 2026, we still have some of the worst refereeing in the Spanish league. Because Munuera Montero, this is the same referee, by the way, who showed a red card to Jude Bellingham. And as a result, he got suspended. They opened an investigation into his businesses, accusing him of committing tax fraud. They went to his home. The press leaked his home address. The fans went to his home, graffitied his wall, threatened him with death. His kids were getting bullied at the school. And it looks like all of that worked. It looks like all that pressure worked, because today Munuera was so scared, was so terrified of ruling against Real Madrid, and instead he continuously punished Barcelona. And today we won. And because we won, we get to complain about the referee, because had we lost, we would be saying, oh, that's just an excuse. But no, today we won, so today we get to talk about the horrible, horrible refereeing that Munuera Montero did today. Because there was, first of all, Álvaro Carreras steps on Lamine Yamal. Clear yellow card. No yellow card in sight. And by the way, that could have definitely altered the course of the match, because an Álvaro Carreras, who was barely hanging on to Lamine Yamal with a yellow card, would have been able to hang on even less, because now you have to be more cautious. Otherwise, you can get a second yellow card and see a red. Real Madrid's second goal, there was a foul, a clear foul by Jude Bellingham on Eric Garcia, and therefore that should have been a foul and not a corner kick. And yet The referee ignores the foul, rules that it's a corner kick, and Real Madrid were able to score. Not to mention that corner kick happened in the 52nd minute. The referee gave 3 extra minutes. That match, the first half should have ended at 48th minute. It goes all the way to the 53rd minute. Someone explain that to me. Then during the second half, the match starts and it's level 2-2. And every time Barcelona touch a Real Madrid player, foul. Every time Real Madrid player touches a Barcelona player, no foul. Disgusting, disgusting performance by Munuera Montero, who looks like all that pressure that Madrid did on him worked, because today he was absolutely terrified of being fair and all the calls came in favor of Real Madrid. But nonetheless, despite the disgusting tactics by Real Madrid, parking the bus and committing fouls the entire match, I would have thought, by the way, I was watching Getafe, not Real Madrid. And despite the horrible refereeing of Munuera Montero, today Barcelona emerged as champions. And to that, we have to applaud this team. We have to applaud Hansi Flick, because not only did we win, not only did we lift another trophy, but the fact that this team was able to overcome all these obstacles and still able to win despite the horrible refereeing and despite the Mourinho-like tactics of Real Madrid, that is something to be admired. So congratulations to the players. Congratulations to Hansi Flick. Congratulations to all of us Calais, because today we go to bed champions. Another trophy that Hansi Flick gets to lift with this team. The first trophy of this 2025-2026 season, which hopefully will be followed by many, many more. Now, let's talk about Barcelona. As always, I do like to review the lineup, then talk about general sensation about the team, and finally talk about individual players. But let's look at the lineup, because this is the lineup that Hansi Flick chose for today's match. Of course, in goal, we have Joan Garcia, Jules Koundé, and Alejandro Balde on as our 2 fullbacks. Eric Garcia starting today again ahead of Gerard Maldini next to Pau Cubarsí. In the midfield, of course, we had Frankie, Pedri, and Fermín López. And our front 3 were Coutinho, Lamine Yamal on the wings, and Robert Lewandowski starting ahead of Ferran Torres. As far as Real Madrid, of course, they had Thibaut Courtois in goal. They had Asensio and Álvaro Carreras as their 2 fullbacks. They had Tchouaméni and Huijsen. In the midfield, they had Valverde, Bellingham, Camavinga, and Rodrigo. And up front, they had Garcia and they had Vinicius Jr. This is kind of like the lineup they started, but really throughout the match, they were playing a 5-3-2, parking the bus and just sending long passes to Vinicius, hoping that Vinicius does, make some miracle, which he did, by the way, in Real Madrid's goal. Now, let's talk about the exact match, because Barcelona started out the match really well. I think with Real Madrid, clearly their plan was clear from first minute that they were just going to park the bus and hope that Vinicius Jr. saves them. And here's when I'm a little bit disappointed, because even though Barcelona had Real Madrid completely locked in their third, and even though Barcelona had the possession of the ball, it seemed like Barcelona were a little bit scared. It seemed like they were being extra cautious, because even though they had Madrid right there locked in their third against the ropes, Barcelona weren't really doing much. They were just moving the ball slowly, going side to side, and that was getting a little bit frustrating, because I felt like Barcelona could have hit the accelerator from the first minute, and had we done, we probably could have scored a lot more goals, because it wasn't until maybe the 25th minute that Barcelona actually started trying, where they really started sending long passes to the empty space, attacking the empty space, moving the ball a little bit quicker. And as soon as Barcelona did that, it didn't even take that long. As soon as Barcelona started moving the ball quickly and actually trying to create chances, we created so many. First came the Fermín López miss, where he sends the ball flying over goal. Then came the Rafinha miss, where he was 1v1 against Courtois and completely misses the target. And then immediately after, of course, Rafinha revindicates himself. He gets a beautiful pass by, was it Fermín López? Yeah, Fermín López. And then he puts in an amazing shot, bears it in the back. And then after that came, of course, Lewandowski's goal. Now, of course, first it was Vinicius Jr.'s goal, but that's what I mean. Barcelona was very, very cautious the first 25 minutes, and it wasn't until they actually started trying that the chances started pouring in. And as a result, we had 2 goals. So can you imagine if Barcelona started trying from the first minute? I think Barcelona would have created a lot more chances. And who knows, we could have went to halftime with 3 goals, maybe even 4. But nonetheless, it was 2-1 because Vinicius Jr. scored a beautiful goal. And then comes that weird 52nd minute, despite giving 30 minutes, that weird goal that, again, shouldn't have been a corner kick, because Birmingham clearly fouls Eric Garcia. The referee ignores it. It's a corner kick. Rafinha flies in the air, heads the ball. It bounces off the post, and then it lands to Garcia, who all he does is push it in as he's falling down, and it's 2-2. And we went to the halftime. Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed because I did not think that scoreline reflected at all what happened in the first half. You know, if you missed the first half and you turn on the TV and you see it's 2-2, it sounds like the game was pretty level, that Barcelona and Real Madrid were pretty equal on the field. And that was not the case because Barcelona dominated every single second of the first half from the moment the match started until the referee blew the whistle for the halftime. And yet we went to the locker room 2-2. And then the second half begins, and it was complete chaos the first 15 minutes. And it was all thanks to, again, the terrible refereeing of Munera Montero, who every time someone would blow on a Madrid player, foul. But Barcelona players were getting kicked. They were getting taken down and nothing. And of course, that created a lot of chaos. That created a lot of frustration amongst Barcelona players, seeing that the referee was completely disrupting their flow, completely disrupting the flow of the match. But thankfully, Barcelona were able to reimpose themselves, regain control of the match, despite everything that Munera Montero was doing. And then, of course, came the third goal by Coutinho. It was a little bit of a deflection on Asensio, but nonetheless, it was a goal. And finally, the match ended 3-2. Now, Real Madrid did have a couple of chances towards the end after Frenkie de Jong got that very weird red card. And Real Madrid brought in Mbappe and pretty much brought in everybody that they could. Ceballos, Arda Güler, and they just attacked with all their team. They had two chances where Alvaro Carreras by himself takes a shot right at Joan Garcia. And then I think it was it Asensio that heads it? And then also right at Joan Garcia. And thankfully, the match ended 3-2. Again, very weird scoreline because I don't think it's a reflection of at all of what happened in the match because Barcelona were dominant the entire 90 minutes. They were way superior to Real Madrid. And honestly, I can't believe it ended 3-2. I mean, this was kind of a match that should have ended, maybe 5-2 because not only did Fermin and Rafinha had two clear chances in the first half that they missed, Marcus Rashford, man, he had a clear chance 1v1 against Thibaut Courtois, and he shoots it so horribly, he ended up missing. I mean, this was the opportunity of Marcus Rashford to shine because, and I said this during the watch-along, I said, look, Real Madrid are going to advance all their lines. They're going to attack with everything they got because they're losing, and the match is coming to an end. This is the chance to take advantage of Marcus Rashford's speed and physicality. Just send long balls to him and just, have him take advantage of his speed and beat the defenders. And he did. He got two chances, two long balls, and he wasted both of them. Absolute waste of chances. So again, I don't think this result was a fair result of the match. But nonetheless, the important thing is that Barcelona won and that we lifted another trophy and that we humiliated Real Madrid once again, who again, I didn't see any kind of play by them. I mean, it was just Vinicius' goal that was the only brilliant moment of Real Madrid, and it wasn't a brilliant moment of Real Madrid. That was a moment of brilliance of Vinicius Jr. because he did all the work. He pretty much carried the team on his back. But besides that, it was a very, very horrendous Real Madrid. Again, if you told me that was Getafe, I would have 100% believed it because that's exactly how they played. Now, let's talk about the players themselves. I really liked Eric Garcia because today he was very good at anticipating those Real Madrid counters, because another thing I was disappointed about the team, not only that it took too long to start attacking and creating chances during the first half, but they weren't too good with the high press. Whenever Barcelona lost the ball, they kind of gave Madrid enough time to start the build-up and to try to get a counter-attack. And because of the failure of Barcelona's high press, Eddie Garcia actually had to step in, and in many, many occasions, he was able to save Barca because many chances there were passes that had they gone through, they would have left either Vinicius or Rodrigo or someone else 1v1 against Joan Garcia. But many of those chances, Eddie Garcia was able to anticipate those passes, intercept those passes, and therefore, not causing any kind of danger for Joan Garcia. Frenkie de Jong, I'm very critical of him, but today, one hell of a match defensively speaking. Frenkie de Jong was very, very involved in the defense today. He constantly tracked back to help with the defense. He constantly tracked back, acting like a sweeper and helping Barcelona whenever, for example, Koundé would be 1v1 and then the ball would go loose. And then all of a sudden you see Frenkie there to get the ball, to clear the ball there. Same with Eddie Garcia, same with Pau Cubarsí. He was a great, great backup to our defensive line, constantly dropping back, acting like a sweeper, acting like a second man to help with our defense, to clear those loose balls and to help our defense mark Real Madrid whenever they went on in the counter. So I really, really liked the match of Frenkie de Jong. Excellent match defensively speaking. It was an absolute shame that it ended with him being expelled, but nonetheless, great job by Frankie de Jong. Lamine Yamal today absolutely cooking Real Madrid. The whole time he had Rodrigo and Alvaro Carreras on him. They were on him like white on rice all the time. And then someone else, a third player would come. Either Tchouaméni or Jude Bellingham would then act as the third man. Sometimes 4 people would be on him. Carreras, Rodrigo, Bellingham, and Tchouaméni. And yet he was dancing all over the field, leaving bodies behind him. I mean, Lamine Yamal absolutely cooked today's Real Madrid defense. And to think that Madridistas really thought that the answer to Lamine Yamal was Alvaro Carreras, because Alvaro Carreras was able to contain Lamine Yamal during the first El Clasico. But they forget one important detail, is that Lamine Yamal was injured. He played with lots of pain and discomfort during that match. And as a result, that's why Alvaro Carreras was able to stop him. But today, Alvaro Carreras, who? I mean, today when Lamine Yamal goes home and does laundry, he's going to have to check his pockets, because Alvaro Carreras, I'm sure, is still stuck in his pocket. He's going to have to empty it. Otherwise, he risks Alvaro Carreras drowning in his washer. So absolutely cooking everybody. And then, of course, the man of the match, the MVP, Go freaking Tigna. Go Tigna has become the biggest difference maker on the squad. What a change from those 2 seasons under Xavi Hernandez, where he was average at best, to now being an absolute difference maker. And we saw it. I mean, we saw his amazing performance last season, but this season we saw even more what a difference he makes on the team, because when he was injured for those 2 months, Barcelona without Rafinha is a completely different team than Barcelona with Rafinha, from the intensity side, from the motivation, from just, mentally speaking, how much Rafinha adds when he is on the field. And then today, 2 goals, and the way he played today. I mean, he had to be subbed out because he was pretty much exhausted, because how much he ran and how much ground he covered. But Go Tigna, ladies and gentlemen, has become the biggest difference maker for Barcelona. But great job by the team. I think this was a great collective effort. They dominated Real Madrid every second of the game. They created way more chances. And of course, they scored more goals. And therefore, they are the worthy champions of the Spanish Super Cup, beating Real Madrid despite their disgusting tactics, and beating Real Madrid despite the horrendous performance of Munuera Montero, who was too scared to rule anything against Real Madrid. But congratulations to Barcelona. Congratulations to these players who played their heart out today. And of course, congratulations to Hansi Flick, who so far has won every competition he's played in except the Champions League. He won La Liga, he won the Copa del Rey, he won the Spanish Super Cup, he just won the Spanish Super Cup again. And of course, we're first in La Liga, we're in the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey, we're still in the group stages of the Champions League, but hopefully this trophy will serve as a launching pad to motivate the players so they can continue getting better, improving, continue winning, and hopefully bring us home more silverware. All right, let's see what everyone is saying in the comment section. But today I'm on cloud 9. I'm very, very happy that we are once again champions. But let's see what everyone's saying in the chat section. Hey, says, congratulations, Habibi, but we give chances to any team. We will always suffer. Yeah, I think Barcelona could have really tightened things up with the high press. I think the high press today failed a little bit. We gave Madrid too much space whenever they recovered the ball, and that's why a lot of times Eric Garcia and Frankie de Jong had to do the things that they had to do in order to cover for our front line's mistakes. But nonetheless, I think Barcelona today absolutely dominated Real Madrid. This 3-2 scoreline is not a fair scoreline. It's not an accurate representation of what happened during the match. Dorian says, yo, Mo, did you hear that Xabi Alonso said that Spanish Super Cup is the least important competition to them? I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that guy is all excuses. By the way, Xabi Alonso is with a B. B is a boy. X-A-B-I. Xabi Hernandez is X-A-V-I. But, I mean, it's so funny because they're both named Xabi, and they both always had an excuse for everything. And Xabi, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't see the statements, but I'm not surprised at all. Bami Ligali says, honestly, I'm not comfortable with Rashford at Barcelona. Man isn't serious with his job. I mean, I've been saying this, but every time I say it, people say I'm crazy. But apparently Barcelona want to activate his option to buy worth 30 million euros. I'm sorry, but he's not worth 30 million euros. I mean, sure, he's technically a world-class player, and to have the chance to sign a world-class player for 30 million, it is an absolute bargain, but he's not performing as a world-class player. He might have the skill and the talent to be a world-class player. He might have been a world-class player for many seasons before, but right now he's not performing as a world-class player. So is it truly a bargain? I mean, this is kind of like, all right, if you get a chance to buy a Ferrari for like 20, 30,000, okay, yeah, that's an absolute bargain. But what if I told you that Ferrari doesn't have an engine? Is it still a bargain? It's not, right? But anyways, Ragnar says, Mo, we need a striker. Who would you want, but with limited financial sources? And do you think Frankie should get benched when Gabi is healthy? I mean, I think Frankie has already been benched by Eric Garcia, so I don't think that would change it. I mean, he started during the semifinal and the final of the Spanish Super Cup, but I think that was more of a decision because I think, given the context of the matches, I think Flick trusted Eddie Garcia more than Gerard Maldini in the defense, and I feel like that's the only reason why Frankie started. But if we had, a center back that Flick trusts more than Eddie Garcia, I think it would have been Eric again next to Pedri. So I don't think we should talk about who would bench Frankie because I think Frankie has already been benched and he's been benched by Eddie Garcia. Curtis says Carreras literally stamped on Yamal's foot with studs up and not a single card. Even ESPN posted a picture of it. Yeah, that should have been a clear yellow card. And by the way, Carreras was really struggling with Lamine Yamal. You give him a yellow card, he was going to struggle even more because now he had to be cautious. But of course, the referee, being the terrible referee that he is, didn't show him a single thing. Abimon says, Yo, Mo, Rafinha is the best player in the world. No debate. I don't know about the world. He's definitely the best player right now on the squad. He's definitely the best Brazilian, by the way, which is crazy because he's not your typical Brazilian player, right? He's not the jogo bonito, fancy dribbles, takes on 3-4 players like Vinicius is. He's like a completely different Brazilian, and yet he is the best Brazilian in the world for sure. Gabriel says, Hi, Mo. Thanks as always for your brilliant analysis of the game detail in every event. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for watching. Boca says De Jong was good in the second half. I thought De Jong was good at the entire match, defensively speaking. Offensively, he didn't participate that much because I think that was the plan, is for Frankie to stay back and help with the defensive duties and have Pedri more as someone who makes those forward runs. So I think, or maybe that's why Frankie de Jong was able to shine so much because, usually Frankie slows down Barcelona's attack because he holds on to the ball for too long. So maybe that's why he was able to really shine today, because he stayed more defensively and allowed Pedri to be more the attacking player. But I thought Frankie had a phenomenal match. Evgeny says Madrid TV should be banned as well as Barca TV if we did that. I mean, the difference between Real Madrid TV and Barca TV is that Barca TV makes documentaries about Barca players and Barca coaches. Real Madrid's TV, they're constantly attacking refs, and as a result, we see what happens. So they are influencing the competitions. They literally are doing it. What they accuse Barcelona of doing with Negrita, which is there's no proof of, they are actually doing through the Real Madrid TV. Gabriel says, I think with Cancelo, our right wing will be so deadly. Yeah, but our defense will be very deadly too, in the sense that it would be our Achilles heel. Conte says, Visca Barça, we are the champions, but I will say fork to the raffle for this brashness against us. What? Fork to the raffle for his... I don't know if I understood what you're trying to say, my friend. If you can clarify, I'll be happy to read your comment again. But Sibich says Mbappe was a ghost today. He only showed up when he got the ball from Yamal since he wasn't getting the ball. I mean, to be fair, Mbappe is A, injured, and B, he played like for 10 minutes. So I wouldn't really look too much into what Mbappe did or did not. Mike Valencia says, how nice of Mbappe to take the trip to Saudi just so he could see Barca lift the trophy in person. Mbappe has this huge collection of silver medals. I mean, the Copa del Rey silver medal, the Spanish Super Cup silver medal, another silver medal in the Spanish Super Cup. Kunde went to Madrid to win the Champions League and ends up he's in Madrid collecting silver medals. DJ Cal says, Yamal was shit. My friend, I would recommend you seriously look for an optometrist as soon as possible, because if you think Yamal was shit today, oh, God bless you. S60 says, just say you are influenced by the real fan. So there is no hate on trend for Lamine from fake Barca fans. Yeah, man, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, he thinks Lamine was trashed. I'll leave it at that. Evgeny says, give them Hernand next time. Maybe bring Laos back. I don't know. Yeah. You're not kidding, my friend. You are not kidding. And Edward says, Mo, did you see the Rashi press and shoulder barge of the ball? Was that an imposter? Wait, I don't think I know what. I don't think I understood your comment. But if you could clarify, that'd be great. And Sam says, if we don't have Twitter or Instagram, how do we enter the raffle? That's the only way, my friend. I'm sorry. Because that's how I pick the winner. So if you're not on Instagram, if you're not in the comment section, I can't pick you. So unfortunately, that's the only way, because I pick the winner from the Instagram comments. You know, I select from the comments who the winner is. So if you can't, I just don't see how else I could do it. Ecole says the ref today was so bad. Today, Barcelona were played as a team and Madrid depended on individual players. 100% accurate, my friend. You're 100% right. And Gabriel says, to be fair, Lamine had a couple bad turnovers and missed passes that would have put us through a goal, but definitely not shit. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are once again Spanish Super Cup champions, and once again achieving that against Real Madrid, who, despite their horrible tactics, despite their dirty, disgusting tactics, and despite the referee being absolutely abysmal, Barcelona were able to overcome all these obstacles to lift this trophy once again, the first trophy of 2025-2026, becoming the first team in the last 15 years to win the Spanish Super Cup final back-to-back. So congratulations to the team. Congratulations to Flick, who has been an absolute blessing for Barcelona. And of course, congratulations to all of us Barcelona fans on this victory. Let's celebrate. But of course, the work is not done. We're only halfway through the season. We still have the Champions League, La Liga, and La Copa del Rey. So the work continues. But nonetheless, today we get to go to bed as champions. So congratulations to all of us. And of course, it's only proper to end this live by saying, Campeones, campeones, oe, oe, oe. Campeones, campeones, oe, oe, oe. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.